Great. So I'm going to share my screen. And so we can go direct to the topic. So the topic today is how to achieve more with less stress. This is something that I'm very passionate for because we should be living a life full of joy and not only stress. My name is Claudia Romero, and I am a holistic productivity coach. And I'm going to explain the holistic part because many years ago, I studied business management, and I was in an environment that it was all productivity, but only focused in the workplace. And the thing is that whether you are a business owner, a professional in a demanding job, and maybe you are a parent, you have to juggle many things. It's not only work, you have to juggle relationships, you should have to juggle your own health and your own environment. And usually we start to build these to-do lists that are huge. And with time, because we cannot catch up on the to-do list, we start to build it further and further, and we are stressed, overwhelmed, and reaching burnt out. So who I am, in a more detail, I am from Chile. My name is Claudia Romero. I am a mom of 3 boys. One of them is severely disabled, so he has a lot of appointments, medical appointments. His health is not always great, so you have to be flexible, and yeah, you have to do many things with him. My eldest son was also diagnosed with traits of autism, but high demanding, so is normal, but some days he has these problems that he cannot cope. So also he needs his therapies and time with him to understand how to deal with all these bubbling things that he's feeling. I am owner of several businesses. I closed one a few years ago to dedicate more into the productivity side, and also I run an Airbnb. And lately, I changed a little bit to be a coach and speaker. So how you can achieve more with less stress? It's easy to say, but it's difficult to implement. Yes and no. The main thing is that we need to have and understand a few steps and stick to them. Consistency, discipline, and perseverance are key. And discipline, I mean not in a strict way, because life is unpredictable. Time is not granted. So you need to be flexible. But discipline will help you to achieve many things in life. A sportman or a sportwoman needs discipline. And when they stick to a routine, when they stick to a pattern, they discipline, they are pushing themselves, they can achieve more. But also they have to nurture themselves, take a rest, because otherwise they can collapse. And it's exactly the same in our lives, in our daily life, in the workplace, in the home, in every single aspect of life. Consistency and discipline aren't easy. And that's why we are very motivated sometimes, and then we are off the wagon. So the main thing here, it is to have support. We cannot do anything by ourselves consistently alone. We need that support. So let's dive. The process that I take it as a holistic way to productivity, it is the SOUL method of productivity. This is based on my experience with many people that I've worked with and my own life. So the 4 steps are simplify, organize and optimize, understand, and leverage. The simplify stage, it is to know that the most important resource in life is you. Nobody can do what you do. Nobody can replace you. So if you need to produce more, you need to nurture yourself more. And when you start to understand yourself, you can see that you are going to get more results. When you know and be clear on your why, your purpose, why you're doing what you're doing. Is it for you? Is it for your family? Is it for a higher thing to change the world, to change your environment, to change people's life? You have to decide what is your why. And defining it, you're going to be more able to see where you want to go and how you're going to go there. So when you define where are you going, you can set your GPS, like I say. It's not looking a map. Maps are printed. You follow a road, and if something happens, then you say, oh, what I'm going to do now? And then you have to stop and look. But when you set a GPS, the GPS sometimes is saying to you, you have to turn right. There is a block in the way and you have to move. So the main thing is be flexible. You have a plan. We need to plan things because otherwise you're never knowing where are you going or how you are going to get the things. You need to plan, but have flexibility in your plan. And it doesn't have to be so complicated. Sometimes if we plan too complicated, then we overwhelm ourselves because we don't know where to start or how to do it. Or you start to see there are so many things that I have to do. And you say, oh, but how am I going to embrace every single thing? So sometimes simple plans are the best. And the last part of simplify for me is the 4 Ds. The do, what I have to do myself that nobody else can do for me, and they are important. The delay, what are the things that I have to do, but can wait a little bit, that aren't as urgent or as important as the first ones. The third ones are all those things that can be delegated, and I mean delegate in every single aspect of your life, not only at work, not only in your business, in your house as well. And this is one of the parts that many moms fail because they feel that they can do it faster and they can do it better. But if you don't give your children a task to do to help at home, then it's less likely they are going to learn and they are going to help. For example, in my case, I used to do everything. But then I started to think, this is our home. It's not only mine. I'm not responsible to do everything. And if I want to spend more time, quality time with my children, they should be helping me. So I sit down with them and I say, do you prefer mommy do everything at home and then the time left for you is so small that we cannot enjoy? Or do you prefer to help me tidy up your room or doing things and help me with the laundry or whatever. And then we have more time together to go to the park. The answer was straightforward. We can help you so we can have fun. And the last thing is being one that it is sometimes difficult because we feel that we cannot dump or eliminate anything from our lives. But the thing it is that we can. We can eliminate things, we can declutter, and we can live without many things. The second part of the productivity soul system is optimize or organize. And here it is something that is very, very difficult at the moment, because we are bombarded with social media, with many things, distraction, notifications, emails, bouncing things. So we need to identify those distractions and put it on hold or eliminate them. So for example, it is quite easy to silence your phone and not having those red buttons going up when you get a mail or when you get a notification in social media. So you can eliminate that, because those little things make your brain bounce from place to place. And when your brain is bouncing from place to place, you cannot focus properly in the task that you have to do. The second part is set boundaries and learning to say no. When you start to set your boundaries, for example, very, very easy, you check emails 3 times a day. When you set that rule, for example, the rest of the people are going to know that you are going to read your emails, but not straight away when they send it. For example, if you say, I read my emails at 9 o'clock in the morning, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and at 5 o'clock in the late evening, people are going to respect that, are going to start to respect that, and they are going to demand less from you because they know, and they know that you have your schedule. The same is learning to say no. When someone asks you, could you do this for me? And you really cannot do it. It's not being mean. It's being true to yourself and say, look, I have so many things to do at the moment, so I cannot help you with this. In another occasion, I could check it, but now I cannot. I'm really sorry. Or say no politely, not now, but maybe tomorrow I can check it. And if that works for the other people, there is no problem. Sometimes we make our own problems. We say, oh, if I say no, they are not going to like me, and our brain starts to play a movie that it really doesn't exist. And that it is source of overwhelm and burnt out. So disconnect to focus. What that I mean? When you have to do something that requires your fully attention, disconnect of every single else things that you have going. Close your windows, close the windows on your computer, close the tabs that you are not going to use for that task or activity. Because if you see a notification or a pop-up thing or a noise or a bell, your brain is going to say, oh, that is maybe important, so I have to go there. And then you go there and you realize that it was like a joke or something that it doesn't really matter. So when you have to focus in something, dedicate that time to that task. There are many productivity tools for that, but I'm not going to go there now. I mentioned decluttering, and decluttering is something that plays a huge part in overwhelm. When you go, for example, to your house and your hallway. It is full of stuff. You feel pressure, you feel anxiety, you feel like, oh, this is too much, and you try to make blind eye. But that is going to be there all the time, and it's going to be in the mind, on the back of your mind, and you're going to start, I have to clean that, I have to clean that, and it's going to stick there. So the best thing to do to focus, to be more productive and everything, is dedicate a time to the clutter, see what is useful, what is not, and give a space for each and everything. Because then you spend less time looking for things because you know exactly where they are. And second, because you don't have many things around you, you can focus in the things that you need to. And the last part in optimize and organize is multitasking efficiently is something that many people say, I'm great multitasking. But multitasking is not great unless there are things that doesn't clash. For example, if you go for exercise and walk while you are hearing a podcast or audiobook, that doesn't clash. That doesn't make you bounce from place to place. But if you try to make a dinner at the same time that washing dishes and the same time of typing a document, probably you're not going to finish anything in the right way. And batch, I mean, group the things that you can do together in blocks. And then you are going to optimize your time because you are doing things that are similar and it doesn't take that long. But don't try to multitask things that require different focus and they are in the same category because you're not going to finish anything properly. The third part is understand. And this is one of the most important things. Because we are individuals, we are different. And to be productive, you need to understand your own energy levels and your own cycles. For example, I am a night owl. I try thousands and thousands of times to get up early at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning. And I cannot function in the few first hours. I cannot. So I try, believe me, I say, because I read so many books that say, oh, you have to wake up early and you're going to have more energy. You'll have to. I try and it didn't work at all. I was miserable. I was grumpy. I was moody. My day went to rubbish. Sorry. I also started to have problems with my husband and my children because I was so grumpy that affects the rest of the family. So when you understand your cycles and your energy levels, you start to work with them instead of against them. So in the mornings, for example, I do all the things that doesn't require concentration, focus, or thinking. So I do the things that I can do quickly, mostly automatically. And then when I know that, oh, now I feel focused, I start to do the productive task. Understanding your environment. My environment is quite different from yours. So I cannot do the same things as you. I have to plan all my routines around my children, around my situations, around what my clients want. But it is understanding that will help you to put in place the productivity or the task you need to do. Third one, it is understanding how are you using your time. And this is similar to understanding your energy levels, because then you can place in the week, for example, what you're going to do at each time. And the thing is, sometimes you realize that you spend 4 hours doing social media that didn't make you go forward. It was just scrolling, just watching, and just doing social. So that is procrastination in a way. So when you understand how you're using your time effectively, and I mean knowing from you wake up till you go to sleep, understanding that, you can plan much better for the next week or the next day. Understanding your failures, it is key, because you can understand what went wrong and how you can improve it. And also, when you have all this understanding, you start to deal better with unexpected situations, because it's not going to paralyze you. You are going to find the result. You are going to adapt. You are going to be more able to seek solutions instead of freezing and see the problem only. And finally, it is the leverage part. How we can use our strengths to be more productive. So when you know your skills, when you know what you're good at, you then can do things quicker, faster, better. The same if you know your weaknesses, because then you know how to outsource instead of smashing the wall 1 and twice and 3 times. I don't say you don't try to do things, but if you really acknowledge I'm really weak in this thing, you know you have to outsource it. You know you have to delegate it. You know you have to be more smarter. Because if you keep going and trying to cross the wall, you're going to waste time, you're going to waste money, and you're going to waste your own energy. And you're going to feel that you're failing and you are not doing good enough. So, and knowing that, you can act quicker. I mentioned as well, learning from the past. When you know what went wrong, you can act quickly. And the most you learn, the most quickly you can react. The fourth part, it is using tools. There are plenty of productivity tools. Use them. Automate emails, automate scheduling postings. Use it. Don't be afraid to use the tools. Sometimes it's not easy and it requires a learning process, of course, but you can delegate that as well. Someone else can do it or set it up for you, and then you run it. So you don't use your own time to do things. And the final part is surround with people that make you grow, that make you go forward, that push yourself to other stages, that I'm not saying that are saying, oh, you're great all the time, but they are saying, I think maybe you should do this or you should that. Feedback. The people that cares and they are going to help you to grow gives feedback. They don't please you all the time, because otherwise you're not going to grow. And for a business owner, the worst thing to do is be alone, because then you're not going to grow. So how you can achieve more with less stress? As I say, going forward, you are the most important resource. You need to nurture yourself. You need to dedicate time for yourself, because otherwise it is going to be the recipe for burnt out. We have 24 hours a day. We cannot do more, but we can do things in a smarter way. Always, always, always make time for you daily. Half an hour, 1 hour. There is plenty of time. Do it for your health, do it for your mental health, and you will see, because you are happier, you are feeling better, you are going to be more focused for the things that you need to do. Make your plan, but don't make it so complicated that it's overwhelming. Simplify it, and you will see that you are going to be on top and in control of your plan. Your plan is not going to control you. You are in control of your plan, your time, and your days. Be present. This is the most important thing, and I've seen it in myself. I was a workaholic. For me, work was the best thing ever. And when I was with my family before getting married, or with my friends, I was always attached to work. I was thinking ahead. I was doing projects. I was trying to solve the wheel or reinvent the wheel. And then I realized that I miss so much. And I don't want to live a life with regrets, to not looking my children grow. So I promised myself when I got married, when I work, I work. I'm not thinking in home. I'm not thinking in house. I'm not thinking in the school. I'm not thinking in the shopping. I'm not thinking in that. I'm thinking in working. And when I'm at home, I am sharing with my family. I'm doing the things with them. I'm having conversations, quality conversations. I'm being present with them, with me. And that changed everything. And of course, less is more. You don't have to pack your week with things to do. Sometimes 2 or 3 things will move you forward quickly than having 20 tasks. And when you, coming back to the part of understanding yourself, when you understand your cycles, you can adapt. And then, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I procrastinate, but I know when I'm procrastinating, and it's a controlled procrastination, because I know that those days that I feel down, that I feel like out with the weather because it's so gray and I'm feeling down, I procrastinate. But the rest, it is picking up and is doing things. Not the full day, because I have to dedicate a lot of time to my family, but those 4 hours or 5 hours when my children are at school, I really focus on what I have to do. And it's simple. And when the time finish, when they go back from school, that's it. So thank you very much. I hope this was helpful for you. And any questions? I think there is, I'm going to stop sharing. I think there are questions in the chat. I'm going to check. And if you have any question, please unmute yourself, and I'm happy to answer.
Claudia, could I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much. Thank you for great presentation. Yeah, I'd be interested to know, with your family situation, if you don't mind me asking. Obviously, please feel free not to answer if it's too personal a question. You mentioned earlier about your son, and I just wondered whether and how you've utilized your expertise and your knowledge on the aspect you were talking about within a family setting, particularly with regards to your son. I just to let you know, I have a 13-year-old son who has ADHD, which often provides quite a lot of challenges from a perspective of he suffers from very low self-esteem and very high anxiety. So yeah, it would be really good to understand how what you've been talking about can be utilized with individuals who maybe see the world differently than sort of other people.
Yeah, totally. So I have two situations. So I have two sons with different needs. So I have three sons, but yeah, the eldest one is the one that has it's not ADHD, is called oppositional defiant disorder. So it is a little bit more challenging because it's arguing all the time.
Yeah, I know somebody who's got a daughter. The same. Yeah,
it's quite tiring, but
yeah,
simplifying and having mindfulness in what you do in the time you do it helped me to try to show him that you can do the things at your own pace, and when you're feeling this anger or feelings that you're going to burst, the best thing to do, it is to, for example, go and do a run or walk or listen to music, and it's not a waste of time, because then you're going to calm down and you're going to be more prone to be focused after. So for me, this is something that I really want to be and teach at schools, because mindfulness, it is something that it is so important. And when you have your mind in a good place, you are going to produce more, you are going to focus more, you're going to be able to concentrate in what you should be doing. But if you try to concentrate having all these feelings inside, it's not going to work, and it's going to waste a little bit more time, because you are in a position that you are not thinking rationally. You are thinking with your emotions.
Yeah.
So the best thing, it is to tackle the emotions first, feeling calm, and then you can do things quicker. It is the same when you have a project at work, for example, and they gave you 3 days. I can bet my hands and my head that you're going to leave it to the last moment.
Yeah.
But if you say you have only 5 hours, you're going to be focused in that and finish it. Otherwise, you're going to pull the elastic band to the end. So having my other son that is totally disabled, non-mobile and not verbal and anything, it is a different kind of care that he needs. But we have to battle going to appointments, dealing with medical teams and many other things.
Yeah.
So now that is very scheduled.
Yeah.
Unless it's in a bad position. But for me, the most challenging part was with my eldest son, to teach him that he didn't have to say things, that he has to think more and calm down before saying something. Otherwise, it's going to cause a problem.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Answering your question before that, focusing on the little tasks first and then the big ones. Personally, it depends on how are you feeling in the day, because sometimes if as I say, if I'm feeling that my brain is not engaging, I do all those tasks that I can clear quickly
Yeah.
because I don't have to think. But if I feel engaged, I do target the big ones first.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a mixture. It's not, this is the best thing. You have to find your own balance. You have to find those, and we are cycle people. We have those ups and we have those down. So when you put and you plan your task, plan it accordingly to your feelings, to your things. So especially women, we have more cycles than men. So when you're feeling moody, it's better to not being social because maybe you are going to not being nice, or you're, so it depends on how you feel and what is your circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you ever so much. That's yeah, that's really helpful, actually. Really helpful.
Thank you as well.
Thank you very much. Jacob, Jenny, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask Claudia before we sort of close down the Zoom room at all?
No, mine was about the big and the little ones, so that was good.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that's good. Jenny, how about yourself? No problem at all.
No, that fits with a lot of the things that I'm sort of learning and doing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you ever so much for both Jacob and Jenny for coming. And
thank you for having me as well.
Thank you ever so much, Claudia, for a great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.